Hello, my name is Wodek, and today I'm going to talk about effective refactoring. In fact, we'll be talking much more, and not only talking, because at some point we'll switch into IntelliJ and we'll do half of an hour or 45 minutes of live coding. So it won't be a lesson of swimming like when I was at primary school and the teachers were outside of water. I was in the water and they were trying to teach me how to swim. Okay, so let's start. Just a few words about myself. I've been in the industry professionally since for more than 13 years. Currently, 14th year is going. I've been working in many companies for the longest period of time in Sabre, when I grew from junior to team leader, and I could do a lot of observations in order to be able to say what I would like to improve, how we operate. Currently, I'm working in this company, Ocado Technology, and I will do a few contests, a few questions. So there are 3 such power banks waiting for you, sponsored by my employer. So it's good to answer to the questions. Okay, so today we'll be talking about theoretically. Definitely each presentation contains a lot of theory, but that's teaching swimming outside of water. So we'll be doing live coding, definitely. Why not? I should be the first one that shows how to swim. And there will be a lot of psychology. I am a fan of psychology, so I'll try to motivate you or show things that can motivate others in your teams to introduce effective refactoring. So before I start, I'd like to show you certain rules, maybe not rules, certain principles that can be applied to any type of industry. Some true things which you can follow, you can obey, but regardless of your decision, you have to deal with consequences of your decisions. So let's, for a while, move a few thousand years back. Once upon a time, there was a farmer, and this farmer had a goose. And one day he noticed that his goose laid down a golden egg. Surprisingly, he took this golden egg. It was pure gold. He sold this, and very happy, and he took some money. But the next day, exactly the same thing happened, and so on and so on. And he started to have very happy and rich life. But what happened next? After some time, this farmer became very greedy, because every day he was thinking only about golden eggs that this goose was giving to him. And at some point he thought, I'm not going to wait any longer. I want to have everything now. So he decided to kill the goose and take all the gold from inside. He did this, and then it occurred that there is nothing inside the goose. And starting from this day, this farmer had no goose and no golden eggs. And in this story, there are 2 things. There is golden egg and there is goose. And these 2 things refer to 2 things. And you cannot focus only on one of them. Please have a look. There is production capability, so the golden eggs, so the goose, and product, the result, the money that we can gain, which is the golden egg. And you cannot focus only on one of them, because if you focus only on golden eggs, you might lose the goose, and you have nothing. On the other side, you cannot feed the goose forever if it doesn't give you any gain. So what is effectiveness? Very often, effectiveness seems to be the amount of golden eggs that the goose is giving to us, whereas diligent leadership needs to think about the future as well. So what will be tomorrow? Maybe today we've got 100 golden eggs, but there is no future in front of us. So there needs to be a balance. a balance between production and production capability. And if you forget about this, then very often your business might lose after a while. So let's move back 50 years back into the past. And let's imagine that you are working in a factory very hard. And for example, you are working and responsible for maintaining such a machine. This machine prints newspaper. And what happens? Let's imagine that your role in this factory is cleaning the floor, whereas you would like to get a promotion. So there is an opportunity because the management decides to organize a contest. And each of this machine has an engineer, main person that takes care of given machine. So the contest is who will produce the biggest amount of paper, will be the winner and will be promoted to a manager now. Okay, so one tricky engineer runs his machine 24 hours a day, 7 days per week, without any stop for any maintenance. And what happens? He won the contest, right? And now you get a promotion. Instead of cleaning the floor, you are promoted and you receive this machine. You inherit it because that guy left his position, now he's manager, and now it's your machine. What happens next? The machine, please remember, each machine can be working for a while, but this machine starts breaking all the time. And how it looks now? Before, it was working. It was the best machine out of the whole factory. Now you came, you were given this machine, and it's breaking forever. Finally, it even occurs that the money that were saved before because of lack of maintenance are much, much smaller than the money that now needs to be spent on repairing this machine or maybe buying a new one. So again, in this case, we've got exactly the same production capability, right? And product, the result, the newspaper. Is there any difference in case of our industry? Software development. What is a good product in case of software development? That's something that our client pays for, right? And it should solve his problems. Does it matter to our client if it's object-oriented design, domain-driven design, coded according to the best practices? Probably what he is expected that it is working, contains no or small amount of defects, and provides him more money that he spent by paying us for the software. That's it, right? That's product in case of software development. So what is production capability in software development? That's something that refers to us, like readability, testability, reusability, complexity, design. Is it easy to add a feature? Is it easy to test it, to find a defect? If there is a defect, correct it. So that's ability to continue, in short. That's production capability in our case. Of course, that's also our desire to grow our knowledge, skills, and so on. So, principle of balance, this applies everywhere. Regardless of what business you choose, there needs to be a balance. If there is no balance, sooner or later, we are going to finish with troubles. Okay, so what is refactoring then? Refactoring is nothing else but a tool, something that helps us to keep this balance, between production and production capability. So what is refactoring? That's the definition that everybody knows. Even my daughters, 9 and 11 years old, knows the definition that it's changing code structure without changing its behavior. Okay, so let's imagine we've got a stand-up. And today I'm talking, okay, today I will be refactoring. And some business people are in front of me. What? Okay, I will be changing the code without, I will be changing code structure without changing its behavior. And then business people might think, maybe Włodek could focus on something that could have bigger value than pouring water from one pot into the other, because that's what comes from this definition. So let's have a look at the full definition of refactoring. Yeah? What is it? This is a disciplined technique for restructuring an existing body of code, altering its internal structure without changing external behavior, okay, comma, undertaken in order to improve some of the non-functional attributes of the software, right? So to improve production capability, readability, testability, performance, complexity, and so on and so on. So refactoring, of course, is never new functionality or fixing defects, because this even fixing defects changes the functionality from incorrect one into correct one. Whereas very often refactoring follows or precedes fixing defects or adding new functionality, because maybe this code is such a nightmare that I'm not able to add any more feature to make it worse. I need to refactor it first. Or maybe after adding a feature, the code became such a nightmare that I should refactor this. So again, non-functional attributes of software, like you should be able to read your code like a good book. You should be able to sit down in a very comfortable armchair and read this. Yeah? Testability, performance, and so on, load management, modularity. These are non-functional attributes of software. So when do we refactor? Yeah, in a minute we are going to do some refactoring. Yeah, I think that's the most important rule. When you see that something is written twice or 3 times, then you should refactor it. So don't repeat yourself. When you've got large classes, definitely. Long methods, definitely. When this is your code and you spend a few days to understand it, maybe after refactoring, your colleagues from your team will save this time, because after you have refactored this, and so on. The problem with, in my opinion, with refactoring is also that it is not that common that there are no good books that can teach you. I mean, not too many good books, and it's a tough subject to learn. There is a book by Martin Fowler, Refactoring. Yeah, probably in each company there is a library, and this book should be there. Even it's translated into Polish. Whereas this book is a kind of encyclopedia. You read this book, okay, you can rename a method. Okay, but even kids at school know that you can rename a method. Whereas the second book, Refactoring to Patterns, puts this subject further. Because here, in this book by Joshua Kerievsky, you can rename a method, great. So if you've got 3 classes, 3 methods, you rename each of them, you can extract the same interface out of these 3 classes, and then you can use it as a strategy or as a abstract factory, and so on. So this book puts the subject matter into use cases, whereas it's also a tough, difficult book to read. There is one more book which I found very interesting. It's very short, it's in Polish, written by Mariusz Sierackiewicz, who is also speaking at this conference, where in this book, Mariusz put the flow of the refactoring into certain steps. So let's just compare what's on the left side, what's on the right side. Each code is easier to read, yeah? On the left side, you are doing bottom-up analysis. You are reading, at the end to say, aha, that's so simple. Whereas on the right side, you just see the algorithm. If I want to know how taxes are going to be retrieved, maybe for different countries, for different customers, okay, I can go into this and have a look what's there. But that's nothing that maybe I need to know right now. Okay, so let's do some refactoring. But before this, just a few words. So this is something that I've thought when I was reading about refactoring, different blocks, books, and so on. Pyramid of refactoring. Have a look. Have a look that the upper you are, the less often given refactoring is performed. So it's not the case that every day you introduce design patterns, you change the architecture of your code. But every day you can change the name of column 1, column 2 variable into first name and last name, for example. Every day you can simplify conditions. And only if you are done with the previous level, you can go up to the next level. If you have, 100 lines of code, but given subsequent 20 lines of code are the same functionality, you can mark them and extract a method out of this. Only after you are done with it, and given parts of code are in different methods, you can put these methods into different classes. And only if you are at this stage, you can think about extracting interfaces and thinking about relations between different classes, so you can think about design patterns, and so on, like this. So this way, we will see that this way you can achieve smaller methods, smaller classes, smaller modules, and this way, if you've got smaller methods, smaller classes, only in this way you can reuse them, right? Reusability is often a very big problem. We've got this code already, but we are writing it from scratch because the new junior developer even doesn't know that such code exists, and out of 5,000 or 5,000, 10,000 lines of code, for sure he or she is not able to figure out that they've got already this logic. Okay, so let's try and do some refactoring. Here is our very simple code. What it contains. It should be just a second. Probably duplicate. Yeah, sorry, thank you. I would be refactoring for myself. Okay, and you would have to only imagine everything. So we've got tests, we've got classes. That's a very common design that I've seen for many, many years. What happens? There is a class movie. That class doesn't contain almost anything except the type of this movie, the type it is priced, and the title. That's it. There is one more class called rental. Rental joins two things, movie and the number of days that given movie is rented for. Okay, so what's just a second. It should be this movie. Yeah, this movie and this rental. Sorry. Yes. Close hours. Okay. So and we've got rental that joins two things: movie and days rented. Okay. And we've got customer class that gives us here a string. What this string is, we'll see in a few tests in a minute. And this method calculates the number of frequent renter points that the given customer will be assigned, and it will calculate the money that he should pay. Let's have a look at a test. So we've got, for example, children movie. Given children movie is priced like this. You pay $1.50 for the first 3 days, and starting from 4th day, you pay $1.50 daily. So, what's happened? If you rent Ice Age 4 for 1 day, then you pay $1.50, and you earn 1 frequent renter points. If you want to hire 2 movies, you pay for each of them. So for Shrek 3 and Ice Age 4, you would pay $3 for 1 day. And you would earn 2 frequent renter points. If you hire Ice Age for 2 days, here you've got 2, you pay still $1.50. If you hire it for 3 days, still you pay $1.50. And starting from 4th day, right, you pay daily price, so $1.50 for the first 3 days, plus the 4th day, $1.50. Today it's $3. And in case of 5 days, clear, that would be $4.5. So in case of new release movie, you pay $4 for each day. So James Bond 2050 is priced $4 for 1 day, $8 for 2 days. And we've got, with exactly the same approach, regular movie. Regular movie is just $2 for the first 2 days. Starting from the third day, the customer would pay $2 additional. So we've got tests. Okay, what should be? So what shall we start with? The refactoring? Yes, exactly, running the tests. So let's run the tests and see. If not, maybe we should start sometimes with writing them, unfortunately. Okay, we are green. So if we are green, we can start refactoring. Before this, just my few words about the design. That's very common. Please have a look. One class contains almost nothing. One more class contains almost nothing. And got class that contains everything. You know very well that if there is a defect, it must be there, even in this method. If there is one more case, like drama movie will be added, okay, sure, we'll do Control-C, Control-V, we'll put it here. We'll say, it was like this, right? It's not me, it's the team. It's just one more if that I've added. That's very common. It's easy. It's always very easy to say, it's not me, it's the team. It's the team's code, yeah? Whereas whose member I am? I'm member of this team. Okay, so let's have a look. What's happening? Statement. Statement. Okay, we've got a loop. We are looping through rentals. What's happening? Based on the movie, we calculate the logic that you know, base price, and additional daily price. For new release, it's $4 per each movie. And for children, there's one more different rule. So we know exactly very well, how long a method should be. I'm sorry, I should have such a monitor, then the method should fit the screen, yeah? Because that's the rule. A method should fit the screen. Yeah? Some people say it should be 10 lines of code, the other 7, the other 15. In my opinion, it should just fit the screen. That's it. Okay, so we know very well what this logic does. It calculates the price. Nothing more. Okay, so why not? What is the shortcut for extracting a method in IntelliJ and in Eclipse? Who knows? Okay. Control-Shift-M. That's for, okay, for IntelliJ. Okay, who knows both? Controls, Alt-M. Yeah? No magic. The same letter, just different first two keys. Usually Control-Alt-Shift and something is for Eclipse. Control-Alt something is for IntelliJ. So I like really IntelliJ, but anyway, you can achieve exactly the same in Eclipse as well. Everything is doable in Eclipse. Sometimes maybe Eclipse requires more steps because extracting a class in Eclipse is a little clumsy, whereas in IntelliJ, it's really cool because you can extract methods and fields. You can mark a few methods, a few fields, and you've got a class extracted. Okay, so let's extract a class. Control-Alt-M, extract method. This was what? Count points. Okay. Price. Oh, sorry. Okay, control. Okay, once again. I know I should. I did on purpose. Control-Z was done on purpose here. Okay, extract. This is what? Extract count price. Okay, count price. As you see, this is live coding, yeah? Definitely. Not playback, not singing from playback. Okay, price, yeah. Price is awaiting. Okay, and we've got one more logic. You see, imagine what would happen if we had a requirement now for drama. There will be three points for given customer. For horror, there will be 4 points because we will encourage brave people to go to us earlier. how this code would like, something will be added here. Next line, next lines, and so on. So we can also extract it. Yeah, that would be count points for sure. Okay, count points. We've got. Why not? What else? We've got iterator, which is not needed. Once I do in IntelliJ something like this, then on while I can click Alt-Enter. If you don't know what to do in IntelliJ, you should click Alt-Enter. Then there will be a hit. In case of Eclipse, the same, Control-1. OK, replace with for each. Was it replaced? Yes. We can even do some more refactoring. Oh, this method fits the screen, right? So we can even think more. Each is equal to renter. Do we need this? Probably not. So what shall we do? Inline. What's the shortcut for inline? Who was the first one? Sorry, I've got lights in front of me and 3 power banks. OK, if you feel you are the first one, you can come for the power bank. Because I can't see in front of the lights. OK, if not, you have to wait for next question. Oh, there is. OK, which one would you like? Third one. Blue?
I'm blue, thanks.
OK. Yeah, there was such a song 10 years ago or more. No, 15 years ago. It was iFirst 65, right? OK. So, inline. So it's good before inline just to write this word, final. If inline would fail, the code would stop compiling right away. So you've got each Control-Alt-N. Oh, there should be one more question for Eclipse. What's the shortcut? Yeah, it's Alt-Shift-I, like the first letter from inline. Exactly the same functionality. And we are done. We've got rental. OK. Something more? Definitely. Let's have a look at these methods that were extracted. Count price. We've got 2 parameters, this amount and rental, whereas this amount is always 0. So do we need such a parameter? Probably not. So we should get rid of it right away. Let's go into count price. The good choice, this method just was extracted, fortunately, to create a local variable like this. Why not? Rename this one into something else. And next, what is needed? Exactly. Running the tests. Shift F10, Alt, Shift, X, and T in Eclipse. A little longer, but still working really well. OK, we are green still. What next? What should I do next? Sorry, again? Remove it. Great. How? Alt-Shift-C. Alt-Shift-C probably is change signature. It's working on Eclipse. That's IntelliJ. Sorry. What's the shortcut? What should I do, guys? Control-Shift-C. Control-Shift-C, no. No. Great. Great. You've got a choice. Alt-Enter. Oh, sorry.
The black one.
Black one. OK. Guys, if you don't know what to do, Alt-Enter. That's it. Yeah, IntelliJ has one big disadvantage. It makes you brainless, unfortunately. In case of Eclipse, very often you have to think how to do this because there are certain steps for certain refactorings, whereas Alt-Enter in IntelliJ really requires no thinking. You've got the answer right away. Remove parameter. OK, we are done. Oh, each. No, that's not a nice name, right? This is side effect of extracting method. At that time, the name of this rental variable was each. So what shall we do? Alt-Enter. No, Alt-Enter not this time. Shift F6. Choose class. No, Shift F6. Sorry, I'm sorry. Just a second. Shift F6. Oh, rename code the currencies because we don't want to change the comments. Okay, we've got different choices. We are done. Let's have a look at, okay, so we are, you see, when we removed the parameter, of course, all the places that were calling this method were adjusted right away. And this way, it was really a few seconds of work. Imagine that such a method is called by 50 places, and you are of course brave, not brave, you are proud that you've got IntelliJ, your company paid for the license, and you are using it like a notepad, yeah? And you are changing 50 places manually. Even at least if you are a good Linux or Unix guy and you would use different tools that would find you right away these places, that's much better. But changing 50 places manually or compiling them, trying to compile, is really a lot of wasting a lot of time. So let's have a look. What else can we correct? Do we need this assignment to 0? No. Probably no. So in this case, if we don't, probably here it should be waiting. It should be working. Shift F10 will tell us the truth, right? Let's run the tests instead of thinking like doing a surgery, if it's worth or not changing, will it be working? I've got the answer right now. We've got one more. It's very often we think about cyclic dependencies between classes, whereas it's also the case when one method calls the other, and the other method being called knows everything about the method that called it. So that's not direct, but we've got a logical dependence because of this between these two methods. So can we get rid of this one? Probably yes, yeah? Here it will be plus equal. Then the test should stop. Yeah, something is wrong. Exactly, something is wrong. One more point was given. Awesome. Let's try now. Yes, we are green in such a case. So plus equal and getting rid of this parameter probably would make this code cleaner. At least in such a case, if we get rid of this parameter, then there won't be dependencies, logical dependencies between these two methods in both directions. So let's do this. Why not? This one at the beginning, let's do this as short as possible. So it's at the beginning, it should be equal to 0, whereas this one should have a different name. Shift F10 will tell us the truth. Awesome. We are still green. And please note that refactoring is also perceived as a challenge. Okay, now we have finished coding, now we'll be refactoring. Because it's perceived as a whole day or maybe whole week task. So imagine there is a fire, tickets are not being sold. The company loses a few £1,000 every hour. And the boss comes, fix this please as soon as possible. Sorry, I'm in middle of refactoring. No. In such a case, I can stop refactoring right away. I can check in this code, even merge it to master branch, and I can switch into other tasks right away. So next, what I should do? Alt-Enter, right? If you don't know what to do, click Alt-Enter. Remove parameter. OK, it's gone. Oh, each remained. Shift F6. What should be? Rental. Yeah. So we've got, let's have a look at this method again. It contains more problems. We don't have a few hours, in fact, because in fact, to make it really, really clean requires a few hours. Believe me, it's a code for a few hours. But have a look. Is this even loop now clearer than it was before? Yeah, we are just reading, OK, count price, count points, sum them up, that's it. Before we are doing bottom-up analysis all the time, we had to go through the whole code at the end to say, aha. And if we are not refactoring it, our colleagues from the teams are doing exactly the same aha after a few hours, maybe a week later, and even we, myself, would do exactly the same after 2 months, after swearing, maybe later checking whose code is it, yeah? And then it occurs, it's mine. I did the checking a few months before. Okay, so let's have a look more at these 2 methods. We've got count price method. Okay, but we are object-oriented programmers. Like, okay, some of you are functional programmers, definitely yes. I think there is some overlap, but functional programming, object-oriented programming is about objects, not about functions. So what happens? Okay, Shift F10. We are green. Okay, great. So the boss might come, yeah, if there is a fire still. If I did add such a word, what happens? Nothing happens. Shift F10 gives you the green tests. So in such a case, there is something wrong most probably with your code, because a method usually should operate on objects, whereas here it's like a utility method. Please, when you come back after the conference on Wednesday, please have a look at your source code in your company and check before how many methods you are able to add static keyword and nothing is happening. Most probably before at least a few. Okay, so in such a case, what I should do with this method? Okay, there won't be a contest for some time because I would run out of power banks. Exactly, it should be moved to the rental part, definitely. So, and then, if I click just F6, I've got move instance method. Alt-Shift-V in case of Eclipse exactly will give you the same functionality. Enter, and it's gone. Please have a look how it looks now here, right? That's this line. Is it, how even this code looks like? Is it more object-oriented? Now you see that you are operating somehow on objects instead of just calling a function that knows everything, receives everything as its arguments, and does its logic, and grows. Okay, let's have a look at the second one. Count points, exactly the same. Static, yeah, nothing happened. The code would, the IDE would shout, would scream right away at me. So F6, make instance method, and you've got these 2 methods are now not here. They are moved, and yeah, that's our code. And now, yeah, if I repeat the same question, is this method more readable? Of course, it's not brilliant, but definitely it's much more readable than it was before, right? Okay, so let me switch to the presentation again. Slideshow from current slide. Do we have? Yes, we've got. So this way, you see that when we are doing this refactoring, then we extracted a few methods. These methods were smaller, easier to read, to understand, even easier to divide again and again into smaller methods. And this way, easier to test, that's obvious, and easier to reuse. Yeah, that's also very, very important point in case of object-oriented programming. When I was creating this presentation, I was thinking, after seeing this slide, reuse code, about nice slide about reusefulness. So reusability, sorry, there is no such a word in English, reusability. So this is what I found. A little strange, but we can compare code segregation to garbage segregation. It's exactly the same, because what is the best code? The best code is code that does not exist, right? Because for sure it doesn't contain any defects. Yeah. A little worse, but still really cool code is code that can be reused right away, right? Maybe, okay, I've got this code. I can reuse it. as it is, without any effort. Or maybe I can recycle some code. After refactoring, I can extract into separate classes that logic that I need and again reuse it. What is the worst code? Yeah? The code that you throw away. You've got exactly this code somewhere in the repository in a 5,000 lines of code class, and we are not reusing it, we are writing it from scratch. The next problem with refactoring, to me, is when to stop, because we can play with changing the code forever. So you need to find something that really speaks to you. To me, for example, Kent Beck, simple design, really speaks well. All of the tests are green. The code has clear intentions. Everything is expressed only once, so it's not duplicated, and it doesn't contain anything that is unnecessary. You can Google for something like hello world design patterns abuse, and then you will find using half of the design patterns just to print line hello world. Okay, so during last 2-3 years, in fact, I've guided a few trainings, more than a few, 20 plus trainings about refactoring. And once upon a time, I thought that I will do a brainstorming. And this was the subject of the brainstorming, because I thought that maybe people by themselves, together, will figure out what to do to really make refactoring happen in their teams. Okay, so this was the question. What to do to make refactoring happen every day in my team? And these were the answers. Unfortunately, quite sad. We need agreement from the management. The architect must decide this. There must be time. We need training. We need tests. We don't have any tests, so how can we proceed with refactoring without any tests? Of course, business people, we need to prioritize it, yeah? And put it somewhere into the backlog, and so on. So in short, the summary is how poor we are in our team, that we are not doing any refactoring. Okay, so what I came up after this training, yeah? Something comes to my mind, my favorite book, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey. And this book is not about programming at all. But it contains really cool, in my opinion, cool ideas how to encourage people to do refactoring in their team. So then I joined Effectiveness and Refactoring, and the title of this talk, Effective Refactoring, this way was created. Okay. So it's not a book about programming, but okay, let's have a look at these 7 habits. Maybe a few of them, then we'll switch to continuing live coding, and then we'll continue with habits. So the habit 1 is be proactive. People's behavior can be divided into 2 parts, proactive or reactive behavior. Some of them are driving the change, whereas some of them are accepting everything what is going on around them and complaining. Yeah, and there is a big difference. Some of them are part of the solution, whereas some of them, unfortunately, are only part of the problem. Because of complaining and checking in ugly code, making the code worse, they are complaining and making things even worse. So we've got 2 choices. We can get rid of the responsibility. Yeah, you should know these 2 guys, Waldorf and Statler from the Muppet Show. Very heavy critics of everything. Probably they are not interested in any changes, because then they would lose their jobs and they would have nothing to criticize. Or you can laugh at things, but also use your sense of humor to make things better. Please have a look at these 2 circles. The green one in the center is circle of influence. These are all the things that you have influence on, even the smallest ones. And there is circle of concerns, all the things around you that are happening, which you do not have direct influence on. So reactive people focus only on complaining, on this, here it's a kind of orange, yeah, circle outside. And this way, they are making the circle of influence smaller and smaller because they are not acting proactively, thinking about the coming problems. Whereas some people focus on the center, circle of influence, and these people do everything they can, even the smallest changes. And when they do even the smaller changes every day, like renaming a method, extracting a small method, this way, these things are small things are becoming their habits. They start doing such small things even without thinking about them, and this way they are able. This way they are able to do more because the circle of influence is getting bigger and bigger for them. So, if you, some people, think about only the end, and they are not doing even the first step. So, please have a look at these two. Circle of concern, circle of influence, and the pyramid of refactoring. Only if you are really proactive, if you think proactively about the coming problems, then you can go up in this pyramid of refactoring. If you only complain, of course, you won't achieve a lot. So why aren't people proactive? That's a very interesting question. From my experience, the most common was playing the victim's role. It's not me, it's the team. It was like this, right? We had 5 cases in the switch, now we've got 10. Yeah, probably edited by myself, but it's not me, it's the team. Many people don't think about step-by-step approach, and are even not taking the first step towards the goal. They resign too early. Or just sometimes it's very comfortable for us even not to try, yeah? We as a team failed, shame on us. That's what I've heard a few times in case of big crap. And of course, nobody was guilty. We as a team failed. It's very easy to say for people that are not proactive. Okay, habit 2. So habit 1 was be proactive. Second habit, begin with the end in mind. Whatever you improvements and inventions are usually created twice. First time in your mind, second time in reality. And whatever you want to achieve, you need to think about 3 questions and answer them. What is my goal? Why should I do this? And how will I do this? So, what do I want to do? Okay, maybe I would like to have one-level abstraction, different responsibilities, different design patterns, strategies. Why would I like to do this? Because the code will be testable, more readable, performance will be better, it will be easier to find defect, correct it, introduce new functionality. And how? Yeah? Will I have automated tests if I break something? How will I know that I'm on track? How do I know that I'm done? Yeah, so leadership, management. Yeah, what's the difference between these two? Very often they are mixed. What does leadership do? Leadership says, okay, we are going to build a bridge towards this direction. Leadership thinks about fulfilling the leadership decisions. And have a look at this sentence written by Martin Fowler, in fact, many years ago. Design patterns are where you want to be, whereas refactorings are ways to get there from somewhere else. Yes, so design patterns refer to leadership, yeah? That's where we want to be. Whereas refactorings refer to management. These are the means we can use in order to go there. And again, only if you answer these 3 questions during refactoring, what I want to do, why I'm doing this, and how will I do this, and you've got really clear answers to this question, you are able to go up in this pyramid of refactoring. Okay. And you need to be definitely driven from outside. Refactoring because the boss, the architect, told me to do so, probably won't be working for a long time. Whereas if you are driven, if you are motivated from inside, that's a completely different story. How to motivate or how to approach refactoring? There are so many ways. Once you start Googling about refactoring, you will find that it's a never-ending story. So many different approaches. So, for example, when you are swearing and reading this 5,000 lines of code, yes, then you can do refactoring right away, just refactoring to understand. Maybe you will separate things that change from things that don't change. And this way you will extract a few classes, interfaces that are changing. Or maybe just you will read about code smells, yeah? Like duplicated code, large classes, long methods, and start recognizing them. A method shouldn't probably be 500 lines of code long, so such a method then most probably should be refactored. Okay. That's what I've talked about here, refactoring. Please have a look. Very often, refactoring is perceived that now we are coding that will be refactoring. When time for refactoring comes, okay, there is a defect found, so refactoring task is kicked out of our iteration, and then there is no refactoring. And of course, who's guilty? It's not me. Yeah, it's the business analyst. Whereas we should never perceive refactoring as a separate task. Refactoring is part of our job that you should never treat separately. And one more thing. Put first things first. So do what is important. Don't do what is urgent unless given thing is urgent and important. How are the things we take care of divided? Here you can find 4 quadrants. And the first quadrant is things like fire, things that are urgent and important. And second one is things that are not urgent, but still important. See what happens if we focus only on the important and urgent things. Then it's taking care only of fires. So the first quadrant is growing. And you are just fire, maybe sometimes you are escaping to 4th quadrant, where things are not important and not urgent at all. So have a look. First quadrant is quadrant of the demand. Second, things that are not urgent but important, things that are very often skipped. Third quadrant is illusion, things that seem to be important, but they are only urgent. And the key problem with refactoring is that it's not treated as an important item because it's never a fire. If there is a fire, there is no time at all for refactoring. Whereas if you focus on not urgent but important things like refactoring, then the second quadrant will start growing, and this way you will avoid not all, but at least some of the fires. So, do we have to find time for refactoring? It's not about finding time. Why? Just a second. And have a look, what is TDD? Test code refactor. Refactor is very big, important part of TDD. If you are not doing refactoring, you are not doing TDD at all. So, again, you should not find time for refactoring. Just choose the most important time for refactoring. When should I do this? No if should I do this. So maybe I should add more code than do refactoring, or the opposite, refactor before being able to extend my code. The same regarding fixing defects. Maybe I should do refactoring after fixing given defects, or maybe I should do this the opposite way. Okay, so let's again probably, okay, just a second. I will switch. Okay, let's continue with our live coding. Why not? So Everybody knows what we achieved before, so let's have a look at this rental class. Yeah, now rental class contains two methods: count points, count price. These methods are shorter, but still not so beautiful. Let's have a look at count points, for example. Is it readable? It's short, but in order to be able to understand it, most probably you need to go through each line of code, and probably if new types of movies would be introduced, this method would become bigger anyway. So, yeah, the question was, is it readable? So, we are used to it, yeah? Very often we are used to reading very ugly code. Okay, it is like this, yeah? It's the team, it's the company, not my fault. Whereas I'll show you in a few steps that we can make this method count points much more readable. Have a look at this line. The customer has one frequent renter points, and if they are hiring given movie of type new release for more than 1 day, then they are given one more frequent renter point, right? So here we know exactly that it's nothing else but this, right? Or we can do control. Let's run the tests first. We should, definitely we should. Control Shift F10. Yeah, it's green, okay. So return 2. Is it green? Yeah, okay, return 3. Is it green? It would be a big problem if it was. No, it isn't, fortunately. Okay, it isn't. So, okay, now we've got this variable created and returned here. Do we need this variable? No. So, final. Okay, so it still compiles. Inline. Okay. Do we need this comments? Probably not. And let's have a look more. That's very interesting part of code. We are getting something from inside the movie here, getting something from inside the movie again, and comparing these two things. Yeah? And probably each of us was studying about encapsulation for many years, and after many years of studies, that's the result of our code. So a kind of shame, definitely. So what shall we do? This condition most probably should be inside the movie. So we can extract a class that will take, we can extract a method that will take movie as an input parameter, then we will move this class as before. So let's do this. Get movie, I will Control-Alt-V, I will extract it into local variable just for a while. I will mark this. Oh, do you know this shortcut? Control-W. That marks you more and more. If you click Control-Shift-W, it marks less and less and less. So very, very nice. Control-Alt-M. Here, movie will become a parameter. Is new release. Okay, let's do this. Why not? Is new release. Can we put static before this one? Or not? Yes, we can. So it's a good candidate for moving. F6, movie 1, here, this field as a parameter. Okay. And now we can, whatever style of formatting you like, or not. Do we need this one? Most probably not. Then get movie is here, it returns movie, so probably we'll be able to get rid of this method very soon. Let's mark this. And now the same question. Is this method more readable than it was before? It took us about 5 minutes, most probably. And I think it is definitely much more readable. Similar with count price. We can think what's repeated here. That's the logic. We know that in the logic of pricing so far was that we have some initial price, then after a certain number of days, we've got daily price that the client pays for. So okay, why not? And the same exact logic is repeated here, but the repetition is really hidden. So let's try to extract a method that will take parameters like daily, what is daily price, what is initial price, what is initial number of days, and let's have such a method. Okay, Control-Alt-V, this is replace this occurrence, this is initial price. Probably, right? Okay, this is for sure initial days. Initial days. Okay, initial days should be here. And one more. This one is daily price. Okay. Let's put everything together. And now, here is our code. Control-Alt-M. Let's call it calculate. Enter. Oh, one more fragment was detected by our IDE. So now we've got this method. We can do even more. Oh, Shift F10, why not? The boss comes, there is something important to be done, whereas we are, in case of some people wasting time on refactoring, okay, I can switch into something that will make, that will allow us to provide new functionality. This case, it wasn't detected, it was too difficult for our IntelliJ, whereas we know that here it should be calculate this amount which we will get rid of soon. Initial price was 0, initial days was 0, daily price was 4.0. Right? Let's, instead of asking if it's good or not, let's run the test. Oh, we are green still. Great. So, and we can even try to do more. This amount is always 0, right? So we can get rid of this. Let's add this at the beginning. It's equal to 0. This one will be renamed. Shift F10. Right? Yeah, we are green. Awesome. This one is not needed. Alt-Enter, remove parameter, that's it. And we've got calculate method. Init price, initial days, daily price. That is here. Let's leave this code. Although this amount, do we need this amount? Probably we can here put return. This break will go. Again here, return. Break is not needed. This way, return. Break is not needed. Yes, okay. What can we do next? This amount, is it needed? Probably not. Is this comment needed? Probably not. Okay, we'll come back to this method later, but I'd like you to focus on this one. Calculate. Can we put static here? Let's check. Okay. We cannot. Finally, we cannot, yeah? It's not that easy, especially when you start refactoring your own code. But get days rented, could become a parameter to this method, right? If it became a parameter to this method could have static identifier before this. So let's extract a variable, replace all two occurrences. Okay, we've got it. Oh, what happened? Static. Oh, thank you. Yeah, static. Now, okay, Control-Alt-V, replace all two occurrences. Yes, everything is working. And this one can become a parameter to this method. How do we do this? Who knows? Control Alt V. No, that created one more. Alt Enter. No, power bank is waiting. Control Alt Shift T. No. Sorry? Sorry again? Control Alt P. Yeah, that's yours. Exactly. Control Alt P. Yeah, you see Control Alt P, Enter. All of the places were appended with one more parameter, right? And now this is waiting. Please come. And now I can write static. That's for you. Okay, now it can be static, so we will be able to do anything we want with this method. Okay, but before we do, let's do some cleanup. Do we need this variable? Probably not. Control Alt N, inline. Yeah, one line less is always one line. You spend a few seconds, maybe 10 seconds to read, so why not get rid of it? And now let's extract a class that contains this calculate method. Control Alt Shift T. This shortcut was mentioned. That's Alt Shift T in Eclipse. Exactly will give you the same really big menu with all the refactorings given IDE supports. So I can extract a class. Here it's called extract delegate. I will extract calculate method, and let's call it price calculator. Okay, that's it. We've got this price calculator. Nothing special yet. Let's go inside. But let's have a look. This calculate method currently contains a few parameters. Oh, it should be renamed, of course, Shift F6. Whereas when this class is created and this method is called, please note that the first three parameters probably would be, if we associate instance of this class with given movie, then most probably the first three parameters would be the same, and only the number of days rented would be different very often. So let's change this class so this method contains only this parameter, because then we can extract an interface that for different types of calculators. For example, now I want to have price calculation every second day. So we'll provide just one more implementation of this class. So let's go here, please, and let's have a look. Currently it's price calculator. I don't want to have this variable. I will inline this. Now I know, a little ugly that new object is created, but what I would like to do, I'd like to put these three parameters into the constructor. Okay. Alt Enter. What's now? Change signature, okay. Refactor. And let's, here it should be these numbers. They should be here for sure. And let's have a look. Now we've got parameters, not used yet, right? We see gray. So Shift F10. It should be green. Yeah, it is. And what next are we going to do? Let's create fields. Alt Enter, bind constructor parameters in fields, Enter. We've got what we wanted to have. And now let's make this one not to be used. Shift F10. We are still green. Alt Enter, remove parameter. Alt Enter, remove parameter. Alt Enter, remove parameter. Okay. And yeah, can we now put static here? For sure not, right? Can we test this class separately as a unit test for all the possible conditions, like boundary conditions, maybe when should it throw an exception and so on? Definitely yes. we can even extract an interface that contains this method, right? And then we will associate different implementations of this interface. So let's try to extract an interface. Extract interface. Okay, here I should put a name, whereas I've got nothing to show here. Why? Please have a look. Because it's not public, exactly. IDE will not propose us extracting non-public methods into an interface. Now I've got public, Ctrl-Alt-Shift-T, extract interface. I've got this. Let's make a name calculator for this, refactor. We've got the interface, right? Now we can test it separately, introduce new ways of calculating a given movie, like every second day, every third day, or maybe special prices for special customers. Yeah, for example, given customer has a discount. This would be special customer calculator that would receive probably somewhere in the constructor the amount, whereas this method would stay the same as it is in the interface. And so on and so on. Let's try to make this more readable. Let's get rid of this. It's a little strange, 0.0. Okay, and even now, if of course, I should get rid of this, of creating new instance of calculator every case. Definitely, I should, for example, derive it from movie, or maybe hide this object within movie, and movie would have calculate method. But have a look again. Is this more readable than it was before? Most probably, yes. Do we have duplication of code? Probably not. Before, this duplication of code was duplication of this algorithm repeated many times. Most probably, nobody would notice this, because sometimes this algorithm was simplified if given part of this equation was just 0. Okay, let's switch into the presentation then. Slideshow from current slide. Yeah, we've got it. Okay, so again, only if you treat refactoring as an important item, you can go up in this pyramid. The first 3 habits: be proactive, start with the end in mind, and do what is important, refer to yourself, to ourselves, whereas the next 3 habits refer to the whole team. So when you are cooperating with the others, think win-win. Have a look, what is the problem with competition? In case of competition, somebody must lose in order for somebody else to win. There is no other option. And it's not working if the team is going to cooperate together. So we've got 2 wins here. One win refers to business quality, the other to technical quality. If you perceive refactoring as a war between yourself and business people, today I'm refactoring so they are losing because I'm not giving the value to the customer, or maybe the opposite. I am not refactoring so they are winning, but I'm losing. Sooner or later, this will cause lose-lose thinking. Both of the sides will lose. So you need to think about refactoring as about something that gives value to both sides, because you will have less swearing, whereas business people will have less complaints from the customer. Yeah, so again, let's have a look at TDD. Is TDD win-win strategy? Test refactor. This refers to only to testing that the product is working correctly, whereas refactoring belongs to you only. You are taking care of technical quality. And even more, win-win or no deal at all, the bottom line. That's the best approach. Think win-win or quit. You don't have to stay in given project, in given team, or even in given company. If you think you have done everything, to introduce refactoring or to be able to take care of your code, why should you stay in given team or in given company? Nobody enforces you to stay, so you can always quit. Have a look at this picture. That's even more where we can come up with this refactoring that we are doing. Here, different pricing strategies has been extracted, and given pricing strategy is injected into given customer. And maybe we would like to have different versions. We had only text representation of the output. Maybe it should be JSON or XML and so on. So again, if you think win-win, you can go up in the pyramid because you will be able to do so, definitely, because there will be no war, there will be cooperation. Have a look at this picture. Yeah, everybody knows such stories. Let's imagine that two people are convincing each other. But each of them's approach is, no, please listen to me and understand me, then I will listen to you. Then it's never-ending story. But if they changed their approach, okay, your opinion is different, so please, I will listen to you, repeat what you mean. It doesn't mean I agree with you, but it means I understand you, and then you will do the same. Then people might start understanding each other and cooperating. So first of all, understand the others. Why? Because otherwise, you will be enforcing your solutions to the others. I have heard a story about a guy that was coming to the office at 6 a.m., doing the checkout from repository, then doing refactoring, checking in the changes, and when people were coming at 8 or 9, their code has already been refactored. Was this person proactive? Definitely yes, but was he listening to the others? I'm not sure. So do not refactor everything that is moving around you. But also take care of being understood. Why not? Once you understand the others, you have right to fight for being understood. And again, if you first listen, try to understand the design, and then later teach the others, you can go up towards the top of this pyramid. Synergy. What is the difference between compromise and synergy? In case of compromise, each side loses something, resigns from something. Whereas in case of synergy, it's not my solution, not your solution, but together as a team, we are looking for a better solution that will make everyone happy and will be better than each single solution found so far. The same applies exactly to refactoring. For sure, in your teams, you've got people that are crazy about design patterns. When I read Gang of Four book 15 years ago, I wanted to introduce design patterns everywhere. Some of them will be crazy about testing, some of them about performance, and so on. But together, it's much more than just the sum of this. So code review, why not? It's a good, very good synergy, because we are listening to the others, and the others are listening to us. And we are definitely giving together much more than just a sum. So no one can write good code at first, but you can write faults in others' code really, really well. So pyramid, yeah, we can go up in this pyramid if you do synergy, definitely. Just a few words. Having said it, sharpen the saw. Each of us knows the story about the guy that wanted to cut off a tree with a blunt saw. And a guy who was walking by asked him, why don't you stop and sharpen the saw? The answer was, I don't have time to do this. And the same, unfortunately, applies to us. Sometimes it's good, it's good to stop, think about the code, maybe sharpen our refactoring skills, but also not think about other things. Have a look at this slide. I take care of my body by eating, right? Exercising, getting sleep. I spend time with my family, friends, learn a lot of ways, in lots of places. So sometimes it's good just to stop refactoring, to be able to continue after some time. So that's sharpening the saw. It refers to all of the areas. Please have a look at the book. I do really encourage you to read this one. You need to think about much more in order to be able to refactor. So if you sharpen the saw, definitely you can climb this to the top of this pyramid. So then I told you that I was asking people, what's wrong? What is needed to refactoring to be happen in your teams? And then I changed this question. What I can do to introduce refactoring every day into my team. And here are the answers, completely different. I can point the places to refactor. I can consult with the others what should be done. I can organize a training. I will show what I did yesterday. So if this is the question, what I can do to introduce refactoring in my team, definitely then the answers are completely different. The answers are much more productive. We are not that poor any longer. So these are the 7 habits of effective refactoring. Be proactive, start with the end in mind, do what is important. And refactoring is important. Refactoring is never urgent. If there is a fire and the company loses £5,000 every hour, there is no time for refactoring. Think win-win when you are cooperating with the others. Listen to them before you understand them, then fight to be understood, definitely. And introduce synergy. And at the end, sharpen the saw. So how these 7 habits can help in effective refactoring? You can think about this, that they really do. One more question. Stephen Covey, the author of this book, died 2 years ago because of a bicycle accident. He was 80. But very often he was mentioning such a proverb, leave the campground cleaner than when you found it. The Boy Scouts of America. And I think it has a very tight connection with our code. Check in clearer code than the one that was present when you check it out. So refactoring must become your habit. What is a habit? This is in fact, it is a joint of 3 things: knowledge, skills, and desire. And only if refactoring will become your habit and you start doing this without even thinking about this, then you will be really effective. And the last slide. What is it? That's one more pyramid, this time pyramid of learning. Have a look at the top. How many can you remember? How much can you remember if you listened to a lecture? Or you fall asleep at 8 a.m. at the university? Probably a few percent. How much can you remember if you teach the others regarding something? 90% on average. How much can you remember where we are practicing? 75% or more. So what does it mean? Teach others or practice by doing. Just you need to experience to understand, and you need to collaborate and teach to grow. And that's it, I think. Thanks for a long time.